The courtroom buzzed with murmurs as Judge Henry Whitmore entered the chamber. Known for his stern demeanor and unyielding judgments, Whitmore had built a reputation as a man who rarely entertained arguments or appeals. To him, the law was black and white, no room for gray. Today, his docket was filled with routine cases, but one in particular caught his attention: a parking violation involving a black woman named Olivia Turner. She appeared poised but unassuming as she sat at the defendant's table, waiting for her case to be called. To Judge Whitmore, this was just another small-time infraction, a nuisance to get through before moving on to more important matters. He couldn't have known that this seemingly insignificant case would lead to a revelation that would forever alter his view of justice, power, and prejudice. As the bailiff called her name, Olivia Turner rose gracefully from her seat. She was dressed in a simple yet professional navy suit, her posture exuding confidence without arrogance. She met the judge's gaze with calm resolve as she made her way to the stand. "Ms. Olivia Turner, you are charged with parking in a restricted zone and failing to pay the associated fine," Judge Whitmore began, his voice as crisp as his black robes. "How do you plead?" Olivia's voice was steady. "Not guilty, Your Honor. The ticket was issued in error." Whitmore raised an eyebrow, already irritated. "In error? Parking violations are straightforward. Either you parked illegally or you didn't." Olivia nodded, her expression unwavering. "I understand, Your Honor. However, I have evidence to show that the restricted parking sign was obscured by construction equipment at the time." Whitmore leaned back in his chair, the flicker of a smirk crossing his face. "Evidence, you say? Very well, let's see it." As Olivia approached the bench with a series of photographs, Whitmore barely glanced at them. "Miss Turner, these photos are hardly conclusive. Regardless, the law is the law. Pay the fine, and let's not waste any more time." A ripple of murmurs spread through the courtroom. Olivia's expression didn't falter. "Your Honor, I respect the court, but I cannot accept a fine for an infraction I didn't commit. I believe I have a right to a fair hearing." Whitmore's patience thinned. He leaned forward, his tone sharp. "Miss Turner, let me be clear. This court does not tolerate frivolous defenses. If you insist on challenging this, I'll impose additional penalties." The room grew silent. Olivia met the judge's glare with calm determination. "Justice, Your Honor, is never frivolous." The judge's irritation boiled over. "Fine," he snapped, his gavel slamming down. "The fine stands at $500, plus court fees." Case dismissed. Olivia quietly returned to her seat, her face unreadable. Meanwhile, Whitmore brushed off the matter, moving on to the next case without a second thought. But the story didn't end there. Later that day, Whitmore received a call from his clerk. The tone on the other end of the line was uncharacteristically nervous. "Judge Whitmore, I think you need to see this." Annoyed but curious, Whitmore walked to his chambers, where a stack of documents awaited him. At the top was a glossy pamphlet titled "The Legal Vanguard, Leaders of the Bar Association." Whitmore's eyes scanned the cover, and there she was, Olivia Turner, not just a member of the bar, but the newly elected head of the State Bar Association. She was an accomplished attorney, celebrated for her work in legal ethics and justice reform. His blood ran cold. By the next morning, the case had gone viral. Social media exploded with outrage, clips of the trial circulating widely. Headlines read, "Judge Fines Bar Association President Over Parking Violation." The narrative painted Whitmore as dismissive and out of touch, highlighting Olivia's calm composure and the judge's condescension. Comments flooded in, many pointing out the symbolic implications of the incident. An older white judge brushing off a black woman's valid arguments, only to be blindsided by her stature. Whitmore's phone rang incessantly. The courthouse was swarmed with reporters demanding comments. Unable to ignore the mounting backlash, Whitmore reached out to Olivia, requesting a private meeting. To his surprise, she agreed. The meeting took place in her office, a sleek space lined with bookshelves and legal awards. Olivia greeted him with a polite smile, her demeanor professional but reserved. "Judge Whitmore," she began, gesturing for him to sit. "What can I do for you?" Whitmore cleared his throat, visibly uncomfortable. "Miss Turner, I wanted to apologize for my behavior in court. I didn't handle your case with the respect it deserved. Olivia tilted her head slightly, her gaze steady. I appreciate the apology, Your Honor, but this isn't just about me. This is about how justice is administered, fairly or unfairly. The conversation shifted as Olivia detailed her experiences with systemic biases in the legal system. She spoke of countless cases where individuals were dismissed or mistreated simply because of preconceived notions or prejudices. Whitmore listened, each word hitting harder than the last. He thought back to his years on the bench, moments he'd overlooked or dismissed, and realized how often he might have failed to truly serve justice. I want to do better, he admitted, his voice quieter than it had ever been in the courtroom. Olivia leaned forward, her tone both firm and encouraging. Change starts with acknowledgement, Your Honor. But it doesn't end there. It requires action. In the months that followed, Whitmore took Olivia's words to heart. He attended seminars on implicit bias, reviewed his past rulings, and even partnered with Olivia on initiatives to promote fairness in the judicial system. Their unlikely alliance became a beacon of hope for many, a reminder that even those entrenched in outdated systems could learn and grow. Years later, Whitmore stood on stage at a legal conference, introducing Olivia as the keynote speaker. The room erupted in applause as she walked to the podium, her presence commanding yet approachable. Whitmore watched with a newfound respect, knowing that this woman had not only challenged his authority, but had also opened his eyes to the deeper meaning of justice. As Olivia spoke, her words resonated deeply. True justice isn't about power or position. It's about understanding, fairness, and the courage to do what's right, even when it's uncomfortable. The audience rose to their feet in a standing ovation, and Whitmore joined them, clapping louder than anyone else. That day marked not just a turning point for one judge, but a step forward for the system he had sworn to uphold.